I'm in my home state of Ohio, which is always fun to come back to, and best of all, I'm here during harvest with Emma Kosicek, and Emma is, of course, part of KosicekVineyards. Emma, what's your position?
Technically, if I had to have a position, I would be the Assistant Winemaker.
But really, you'll be taking over at one point. I mean, is that fair to say that?
Theoretically, one day, maybe, yeah. That's the path that I'm on. I would love that opportunity, for sure.
Thank you very much for taking the time, especially during harvest, because your dad was just here a minute ago, and he's out there working, and a little bit of fog out there that was hanging around for a while, but now it's pretty much gone. For our listeners, this is the Grand River Valley AVA, which is a wonderful area, and some incredible wines come from here. Let's start with the basics of you. You did obviously grow up in wine.
I did. So my parents, we've had this farm in my family for 4 generations now. My great-grandfather immigrated from Slovenia in the 1920s and started this Concord grape farm. So my grandfather continued the tradition, my father continued the tradition, and then when I was about 12, my parents decided to rip out some Concords, quite a bit of Concords, put a tasting room, a production facility, and plant some vinifera.
And when I say that you would take over one day, I mean, your dad's doing very well, and the farm is doing well, but like anybody else, you want to have a plan to what the future is going to be. And that's something you seem to be very cool with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning from my father, who is just a wealth of knowledge, and every day I'm kind of, adding tools to my toolbox to be able to do so in the future. Yeah.
Were you part of that child labor when you were younger? Kind of, we need you, we're gonna pull you out here?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was out here a lot growing up as a kid. My favorite days were coming to visit my dad at work, and we'd have like picnic lunches here before the winery was a thing. But then once the winery became a thing and we started planting wine grapes, I was definitely out in the vineyard until I broke my ankle, and then I got a few weeks off. But yeah, no, I was here all the time as a kid, along with my little brother, Anthony. We were both here, lending a hand all the time.
To me, to be able to grow up in a place like this, to grow up around grapes, would be, the only word that comes to mind right away is enriching.
Genuinely, yeah. It's been amazing to grow up here. I think when I was a teenager, as teenagers do, I didn't appreciate it to its full extent. And I did not foresee my future going in this direction. But after a little bit of enlightenment, secondary education and actually getting experience in the career field that I thought I wanted to work in, as well as coming home back here during COVID, this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. So yeah, super enriching for sure.
When did the winery become a thing?
Yeah, so we planted grapes, wine grapes specifically here in like 2011, 2012 time range. And then we officially opened our doors as a tasting room in 2013, 2014.
The thing about the Grand River, as many rivers are, it winds all over the place. And I just said, I thought it was to the south, so it's to the north of here. It just ends up all over the place. But this is kind of the main influence of what you're getting for growing grapes and why this is an AVA, right?
100%. Yeah, that cold air just drains right out to the Grand River and gets carried away. So we're able to grow some really neat things here that you wouldn't expect for Ohio. So it gives us a really cool opportunity that a lot of folks are starting to take advantage of. So we're growing, grapes that here, and it's awesome because we can actually keep them alive and make quality wines out of them.
But let's talk about the grapes you are growing here, and let's backpedal for a sec. How many acres are you farming?
We have about 20 acres here, 19, 20.
Okay. And what are you growing?
So we are growing Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Riesling. We grow one hybrid, Vidal Blanc. We're going Concord. And then newly planted this past spring, we are beginning to nurture our baby Sauvignon Blanc and Gamay Noir vines.
Oh, very nice. Gamay Noir.
Yeah,
very cool.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I'll bet. The Concord, is anybody actually using that for wine, or is it strictly for production?
Yeah. So we actually make Concord wine here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do.
Oh.
It's super nostalgic. I mean, that's definitely not like the realm of wine that I enjoy on a day-to-day basis, but I enjoy it every once in a while. It's kind of like a nostalgia piece. And we do sell to other producers in the area that use it for winemaking as well. Some you may not expect, but yeah, Concord is used for sure.
How many cases are you producing here?
We produce about 6,000 cases a year.
Sure. And are you selling a lot of grapes then, or are you keeping it?
No, we keep most of our product here. Yeah, we do bring in some grapes, typically from around this area, but we do bring in some from the West Coast on occasion as well. So we do the bulk of our wines as estate wines, but we do bring in supplementary grapes as well.
And obviously labels reflect that, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're super transparent, and all the girls in the tasting room would be happy to tell you the story behind the wines. That is what they're here for, and they love doing it.
Let's just look at this growing season, 2025. What did it look like for you?
Dream.
Yeah.
2025 has been a dream of a growing season. Obviously, we're a little bit scared at times, weather dependent, but that's unavoidable every year. There's always a little bit of nerves going on, and kind of hoping that Mother Nature decides to go one way instead of the other. Early spring is typically when we're the most worried, because that's when we're most prone to frost issues. But 2025 has been a dream of a season. Last year we said 24 vintage was a once-in-a-lifetime vintage. Now we're kind of walking it back a little bit and just coining this year dream, because we hope every year is like this year. We had very little disease pressure, if any. And obviously I can't speak for everyone here, but just speaking here in particular, the weather has been perfect. Our site is kind of higher in elevation, so we get a lot of that drainage. It's been super dry, not a lot of humidity, not a lot of rain. The one thing that I will say could have been better this year for everybody in this area is animal pressure.
Really?
Lots of deer, lots of raccoons, lots of birds. But there are ways to mitigate that to a degree sometimes. And luckily we were able to do that this year. So it's just been beautiful, yeah.
Just like any other winery, any other vineyard, and any other part of the world, as the old saying goes, you put your pants on one leg at a time.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, every day presents its new set of challenges. Sometimes I try to make a to-do list the night before, and then I get to work, and I'm like, well, this was unexpected, and it took me 2 hours to do. I'm just going to throw my to-do list away now and just take the day as it comes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's every day. We grow Pinot Noir here, and every year we kind of get a little bit of bunch rot, or we had been getting a lot of bunch rot. So my dad actually went on a wine trip to Germany in the Ahr Valley, which is where they grow beautiful Pinot Noir. And in talking with some winemakers and growers there, he learned a technique about cutting the end of every cluster off of a Pinot Noir bunch. And that helps with airflow drainage because they're so compact as clusters. So we did that 2 years ago and evaded bunch rot. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was something that you couldn't have dreamed better. This year, like I said, it's been really dry and not humid. And we also didn't have enough manpower or time to do that when we needed to. So luckily, we don't have any rot this year. We're super excited. Today, we're actually bringing in our Pinot Noir. And I know my dad's just over the moon with how beautiful this fruit is. So.
Great. Where did you go to school?
So I did my undergrad at John Carroll University in Cleveland, Ohio. And then I did a winemaking certification from Cornell after I graduated. Just a quick one.
So as a younger winemaker, what is your relationship to other wineries around here? And I'm sure there are probably plenty of other younger winemakers that are second and maybe even third generation people here.
Yeah, there are some younger winemakers in this small AVA. We have a really good relationship with each other, kind of getting together, talking about, what we see the future looking like for our area. And I think it's really fun to have so many people like that you can consult and think about fresh new ideas and opinions and different styles of winemaking. We work together all the time, especially with an emphasis on like farm wineries. We talk about the importance of growing grapes in our AVA and keeping that tradition alive. The fun thing is, though, is there's some winemakers that aren't like second generation or third generation. They're just like young winemakers that are here, and it's awesome. So I love seeing that as well.
Emma, for our listeners, this property is very, very nice. You've got these wonderful vineyards here as you drive up of a classic, dirt road, and a wonderful tasting room here. I'm assuming people can just come in. Do they need to make an appointment? How does it work here?
No, so the only time people need to make an appointment is if they're arriving on a shuttle bus or like form of commercial transportation. And we just do that to keep the tasting room super intimate and that we can have that one-on-one kind of connection with our consumers across the tasting bar. But no appointment necessary. We do tastings all day, every day of our entire wine list. So quite the wine list. But yeah, no appointment necessary. We welcome everyone anytime.
Excellent. And for our listeners who'd like to learn about you online, what's your website?
Yeah, our website is www.KosicekVineyards.com.
Very good. Emma, you and I met probably, a couple of years ago when I first interviewed your dad.
Yeah.
And this has been a total pleasure to talk to you because your enthusiasm is so contagious. And man, you've got a great future ahead of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks for being here.